Welcome to Allie's Attic, where you never know what kind of surprise you'll find in my attic. I'm your host, Allie, and today my surprise is a pop and pop rock artist who is Canadian born and American made. Please welcome Kristen Kivo. Hello, Kristen.
Hi, how are
I
you?
am good. How are you?
Doing really well. Thanks for having me on your
Oh
show.
my God, thank you so much for coming on and coming on like such short notice. Like that was just amazing of you. So thank you so much. Now,
You caught me on a good week. You really did. I
th-
had not a whole lot going on this week, so it worked.
Oh, great. Good timing. Rob from Skeleton Creek is the one that kind of directed me to you, and I'm so glad he did. And he's a great guy. I interviewed him this week as
He
well.
is.
Now let's talk
Yeah.
about being Canadian born. I'm in Canada. I'm in Winnipeg.
hmm
Whereabouts were you born in Canada?
I was born in Nova Scotia, but I didn't live there long. I grew up mostly in America.
Okay,
So,
that's why Canadian
yeah.
born
But I do
American
go
made.
back and visit, and I have family. Actually, I have family all over again. I have more family in Ontario, actually, than
Anywhere
anywhere.
else?
So,
Wow. Well, that's cool.
yeah.
I was just wondering because I was like, Canadian, what, what? Um, Now you've had a passion for music forever. So let's talk about your
hmm
journey and when it started and right up to now,
hmm
because there's lots of interesting things in between.
Oh yes, yeah. We know as even as a little girl, um, I would be told to be quiet quite a bit in the right situation because I would sing to every radio commercial, the songs on the radio, every television commercial. I would make up stuff about my day and put it into a song, even at the age of 3,
Wow.
until my mother finally said, "Maybe I should put you into music." So I did. I did individual coaching and right into choir in high school, and I did some band a little bit. Um, so I really just had a strong love for music, and I would write quite a bit, even at a young age. And I believed for a long time that this was what I was going to do. I was definitely going to go into music as a career.
Yeah.
When we all dreamt about being rock stars or something, right? But I was the longest person in my group of friends to hold on to this dream.
Wow.
I'm going to hold on while everybody else kind of died off and did what most people do is they go on and get an education and they start a family, and then I'm just still here holding on to the dream. Right?
That's a
So,
good thing.
yeah.
But you did, now,
Yeah.
first off, your mom surrounded you with great music. I'm a
Yes.
huge fan of the 70s, like huge. And then, of course, the 80s metal bands or hair bands is what
Yes.
we called them, like
Yes.
Foreigner. Journey is one of my
Yes.
favorite bands.
It
Steve Perry, oh
It
my
is my
God.
absolute favorite band, hands down. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, but Journey takes the cake for me. Um, Growing up in the 90s and 2000s, I didn't listen to anything in the house that was past the 80s. I didn't know I was listening to older music. I thought that was the hit, right?
The music of
That's what
today.
I was listening to. I thought that was new. I moved to a new city and a new school when I was 12, and that is sort of the age where you really get into music. And I was meeting new friends, and they asked me what kind of bands I was into, and I said Journey and Whitesnake. I also knew Drop Glass Tiger, an amazing Canadian band, and just
Uh-huh.
like a bunch of different good bands, and nobody knew what I was talking about. I was like, this was the first moment that I realized, wow, I'm like really behind.
Oh.
But, I don't have any regrets because it's heavily influenced who I am as an artist.
Yeah, and you can
And
hear it. Like you can totally hear it. And I'm also, I mean, another great Canadian band, Heart. You loved Heart. Um,
yeah, I love Heart.
I
Um,
wanted to be Stevie Nicks when I grew up. So
yeah,
I can't sing, but that's one of like I
I
mean,
do. And I love Rush. I
oh
really think
yeah,
they're like a,
Rush.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So there's some phenomenal Canadian bands.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are. There's a lot that people don't even realize they're Canadian. But I'm glad that I mean we know who you are. I mean, even though you're in America, you were Canadian born, so I'm going to hold on to that because I'm
Yeah,
Canadian.
yeah.
Now, after
I'm a Canadian citizen.
there
Like
you
I am.
go.
Like I am actually still a citizen of Canada, even though I've lived here for years and years. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So I get the best
Yeah.
of both worlds.
There you go. Definitely. Now, when you found out that you were listening to dated music, what kind of music did you turn to? Like, did you start getting into what your friends were listening to and get a little bit more
Well,
current?
I did. I got into a lot of like the new pop, but they were trying to show me what their version of old music was, which was like 90s stuff, like the older 90s, early 90s stuff. So we played catch up with me. Like, let's catch up. This poor girl needs help. Bring her all the way through the years. So I did a lot of Goo Goo Dolls. There was Green Day. I caught all kept going until I caught up to modern day, and I'm like, oh, all right, there's a lot going on. So, but again, like, I don't regret. You know what? I love the music through the '90s, and I love even the music that's going on now. What's beautiful about music, it's always changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interpretive.
Yes.
And it's art. Essentially, art is a fancy word for creation, right? So, people are constantly creating something new, and that always excites me.
Yeah, it excites me too. That's why I love doing this, because I get to, find all these new creations all the time. So it's just beautiful. Now, you decided to go the safe route, and the route that I think every parent wants their children to go when they find out that they want to be a musician. So you went to college?
Where did I go to college?
No, when you did go to college. Yeah, no,
when
you
did I
did.
go? Well, I took a year out of high school, and I did a lot of backup vocaling for just different bands, and but again, people do. It's a tough industry, and so they want to make sure that you have something stable. So I did. I eventually went to college I got a degree in psychology, and I just stopped. I was doing my master's. I finally started my master's program this year, and I got maybe 4, 5, 6. I don't even know how many classes into it. And I took this particular professor. Maybe it was just the right professor, the right timing, the stars aligned. I don't know, but we were discussing how our beliefs dictate our actions, and I remember just sort of doing this self-reflection of like, when did I stop believing that I could have a career in music? Because I must have stopped believing that for a second, because here I am. I don't regret taking, psychology. I think it's a wonderful degree. It's helped me figure out a lot of my, and matter of fact, it's helped me get right back into the music biz. So it was, maybe I needed that little detour to realize who I really was and what I really wanted out of life. And I decided I'm going to believe that I can do this, because if my actions are dictated based on my beliefs, then I'm going to just keep believing. Right?
Yeah.
And then I listened to some Journey, Don't Stop Believing. There you go, and off I went.
Yeah.
So,
great song to get you motivated. I love how you say, like, you're combining the two, your psychology and music. Like you've already talked about, music is creation, and it always applies to something somebody's going through. And I mean, I could never, when I was younger, I was like, well, how do they know I'm feeling like that, when I would listen to a song over and over because I, had my heart broken or whatever the case may be. But we've all go through the same kind of situations, and you can heal through music. And you talk about that. You talk about how you can help people with your music, and that you're taking that from your psychology as well. And thank God to your professor that talked about, beliefs, because we wouldn't have you singing if, he didn't.
Thank you.
Now,
music was a very healing process for me too. Like, music was a reinforcer for good moments. It was a healing process for really bad moments. And I've always wanted to help people. And I said, I've always wanted. So I don't regret taking psychology. I just want to help them in the best way I know how to help them, which is music. And so sometimes you don't have to have a message in music and say that everything is going to be okay. Maybe the message is, things are terrible right now, and I feel this way, and somebody needs to relate that they're not alone. They're not alone. We all feel that way.
Exactly.
At different times.
Exactly. And that's what I love about it. Now, you began writing and doing covers and you were on all kinds of different social media forums. Now, eventually,
Yeah.
Bob Lyon, am I saying that right?
Leone.
Yeah, I can never say his name right.
Yep. Leone.
Introduced you to Bob Cottarella, who is a multiple Grammy-winning award producer.
Yeah.
And you guys got together and produced some magic.
Yeah, you know what? He's a phenomenal producer. I was honored that Bob had Leone had noticed me first. I was putting covers out online, and that's how he found me and he contacted me. So for a couple months, we created a working relationship, and we were working on song lyrics and different things. And eventually he said, okay, well, I'm going to LA at this time. Come with me. I want to introduce you to Bob Cottarella. He's a great producer, good friend of mine. And so I did. And Bob Cottarella and I co-wrote the 3 tracks that I stream right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just, not only was he just an incredibly talented, gifted man, he was just this really down-to-earth, good guy. So this was my first larger experience, I guess, working in the music industry. I mean, I've been doing some small gigs for backup vocaling and things like that. I've been writing my own stuff here, but to sort of now kind of step out from behind backing vocals and start doing my own artistry, which is what I've always wanted to do, was just remarkable. And you know, you need the right producer, you need the right people to support you, and he was just a phenomenal guy to work with, and yeah,
that's awesome. And like you said, you've produced 3 tracks with him, Somewhere in an 80s Dream, Love Makes This Sound, and Tell Me. And your Twitter, like if anybody wants to find Kristen, by the way, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and her music is on Reverb Nation. Your Twitter is crazy. Your fans are amazing. It's just beautiful to see.
You know what? I have such amazing support. I don't know what happened. I only started Twitter in July, so I'm new to the whole Twitter world, and it exploded. And I'm so honored. And I've had support from fans, support from other amazing music artists themselves, that Twitter, I find, can be a very beautiful experience, because it's meant for everybody to help each other. You know, the whole retweeting, you know, I'm a big retweeter of other people's work too, because if I want that kind of exposure, then I need to be willing to give others that same exposure.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
So
I'm the same way.
And so I do that for people, and I found Twitter this really symbiotic community of amazing people.
Yeah, they are. So, and even me, I'm small time, but the support I get blows me away. Now I like that you include some big artists in your tweets. And when you talk, you have like Quiet Riot playing back. I absolutely love it. I got so immersed in your Twitter. I'm serious. I was like lost. I was just like, oh my God, what time is it? It was just amazing.
You know what? So a couple times, I have different segments that I do. Aside from doing my covers and aside from showing my own music, there's different segments I have. Today is Fun Fact Friday, where I just share random information about myself. Because people like to get to know the artist a little bit. You know, who's behind that? Who's behind the song? What is she doing? But I have a White Snake Wednesday that I usually do. And then there's another little segment. Sometimes I just feature different artists. And I did. I featured Quiet Riot and Paul Sortino, who is a big hero. I don't know if you've heard that guy sing. He played for Quiet Riot and a couple of different really good bands. He's got his own solo projects on the go, too. And so quite a hero of mine. So I like to feature different artists all the time.
Yeah.
And it's fun to kind of just connect people to what the things that I like. And so sometimes I get a lot of questions like, do you listen to anything new? I do all the time, actually. But if I had to, where my heart is, it's in the hair metal. It's in the big sound of the 80s. But don't get me wrong, I love modern music too. So my take on music is a lot of modern pop, but mixed with some of that hair metal. So you can hear it. You're going to start hearing it more. There's a few tracks right now being built right now that we're working on and producing a couple songs, and you'll start hearing more of those elements in there.
Awesome.
I'm excited to kind of share that with everybody.
Yeah,
so I'm excited to hear it. January.
Yay!
So,
Well,
yeah,
when you
yeah.
get some
So
new
it was fun.
songs, like you can send me singles and I'll throw them up on a page I have on my website to help promote them, or you can come back on. This isn't ever a
Yeah, I
one-shot
would love
deal.
to.
Now, I love the way you talk about pop and pop
Mm-hmm.
rock. You talk about it, it's like it's got a feel of happiness and freedom, and it puts a smile on your face and helps you feel light, like a weight's been lifted off of your shoulders. Um,
Yes.
and then, like you say, who can resist the crooning sound of an electric guitar? Like you cannot replace
Yeah.
that. I could listen to Eddie Van Halen shred forever. Um,
Yes.
it's just an amazing sound. But I love how you talk about pop music because that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel happy and put a
Mm-hmm.
smile on your face and make you feel light. And you do
Mm-hmm.
it well. Like you really, really do it well.
Thank you.
Now I noticed that a lot of people call you Kivo instead of Kristen.
Yep.
So is that
Mm-hmm.
your stage name? Is
That's
Kivo?
my stage. That's my stage. So yeah. So
Okay.
I just go Kivo. Some people call me Kivo. Some people go Kivo. I mean, and that's just what I go for stage. I mean, I was born Kristen. That's true. But,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so is it Kivo or
but
Kivo?
yeah,
Kivo?
Kivo. But
Kivo.
I do know it depends on your accent. I think.
I think
Some
so.
people from other countries say there's definitely Kivo.
Yeah, weird.
So
I thought it was Kivo too. Now I know. Kivo. Um,
yeah.
now let's talk about the song we're going to play, which is Somewhere in an
Mm-hmm.
80s Dream. Now, I'm going to tell you, I
Mm-hmm.
do this with everybody, and it's so bad that I do this. Um, when I listen to you, I'm going to tell you who I heard. And I've been doing radio for 18 years and now this, and it's just a thing I do. I don't know if everybody else does it or if I'm just a phenomenal freak. But anyway, I heard a bit of Belinda Carlisle in there, and it just,
Really?
yeah, and a little bit of the
I
Spice
love
Girls.
Belinda Carlisle. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I heard a little bit of the
Thank
Spice
you.
Girls, Madonna, like when she's doing her softer stuff. And then if Steve Perry was a girl, you can hear Steve Perry in there. Seriously, you can hear a
If
little
Steve
bit of
Perry
it.
was a girl, you know what? I've tried my entire life to emulate that man, and I can't even come close. So I'm like, okay, I've settled that I will never be as good as Steve Perry, but that's okay. I'm going to keep trying.
Well, you can hear it a little bit, just a little bit, but yeah, you can hear it in there. And I was just like, my God, that's a lot of artists in one lady. So you're obviously, I mean, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, thank goodness that I mean, you still are working at your master's and you're going to eventually get it, but at least you're following your
Yes,
passion.
I will be chipping away slowly, but I've really had to pull back right now because the music industry just got so busy and I just couldn't do it all.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah.
Now, because you've been doing
But
this for a while and because you did kind of, foray into what every parent wants their children to do and get a really good education and become a doctor or something.
become a doctor or a lawyer. Yes.
Exactly. Now, if you had any advice to give anybody that was just starting out in this industry, what kind of advice would you give them?
Do something every single day to get you there to your goal. So whether that is saving money because you need to save money, because if you're like me, the starving artist kind, right?
Yeah.
Whether that is writing. So if you're not in the studio recording, write something down lyrically. Write something down on if you're you have a piano in the house. So sometimes I'll write a few melodies down and have a notebook with you at all times. I guess whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your goal is, but do something every single day. That I'm not saying it has to consume the entire day.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an hour, but do something. Another one that I do, again, of course, because I'm big on social media, is I network. I network a lot with local musicians who are in other states. What are they doing? I try to collaborate with other artists as well because I love collaboration. Not every artist loves collaboration, but I do because I think a song idea that you might have, it might have been good. But when you incorporate other people's ideas, if you're working together, it becomes so much bigger and better than you could have ever dreamed. So network, find other musicians, find, just a good group of people that will support you in what you're doing, but do something every single day.
That's great advice. I like the carry a notebook with you. I think that is a
Yes.
great thing. Now
it's a musician's Bible essentially. It's like where sometimes, like, even if I'm driving, I get stopped at a light, but I have an idea for a lyric, and I don't want to lose it, so I write it down real quickly, or I record it on my phone. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can do it, but
Yeah.
make sure you have something with you
Yeah,
so you capture those moments.
great advice. And that applies to any artistry, not just songwriting, but anything.
Right. Yeah.
Now let's talk about Somewhere in an 80s Dream. What is behind the song? Like, where did you come up with that?
It was literally a dream. That's where it started. I had this dream. I had just purchased Journey tickets, a month prior to this dream. And I was excited. It was going to be my first Journey concert. I've been listening to Journey for years, but this was going to be my first concert, and I was just so thrilled. And I went to sleep this night, and this was actually even before going to record. I recorded in June in LA. Mm-hmm. And this particular night, I went to sleep. I had this dream that I was on the Journey bus, and even Steve Perry was there, but he was somewhere in the back. You couldn't see him, but the rest of us were sitting around this kitchenette table, and I was complaining how my name never got dropped in a song, because 80s were huge of, like, name dropping. I mean, Steve had O'Sherry, Boston had Amanda, I mean, Roxanne got on the song. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but I was complaining in a joking way, so we all started laughing. And it was actually Neil Sean that looked at me and said, "Don't worry, Steve's name never got dropped in the song either." And then we started laughing again. And then all of a sudden we were looking at our notebook. And then we just started writing like crazy. And the dream just got really intense. Like, whatever we were writing was intense. And I woke right up. And it was 4 a.m. And I just could not let go of this dream. I couldn't fall back to sleep. And so I wrote down the dream. And that was like the weirdest dream I've ever had. So I'm like, all right. So I wrote it down. And then I toyed with the idea of different songs, like how could you name drop Steve Perry in a song? And there was different renditions of it and different ideas. But ultimately, I took it to Bob Lyon, and we came up with a couple of different lines. I was like, "Somewhere in an 80s Dream," Journey sang, and I believe. And then he's like, "I was Sherry and you were Steve." Like, all right, this song is going good. And so we did. We laughed, and then but it was just brilliant. I thought it was a brilliant line, and Bob was the one that actually built the track, which was just a beautiful track. And then from there, if you listen closely to the song, there's not just Journey references. Journey ones are obvious, but there's a Sting reference in there. There's a Whitesnake reference in there. So yeah, there's definitely 80s references.
That is so cool. That is so cool. One of my favorite Whitesnake songs is "Anytime I Break Up with a Guy," and here I go again on my own. But anyway, just had to throw that in there. Yeah. I love the song. I could listen to it over and over and over again, and it's because your voice is airy. Like, it's beautiful to listen to. But this song is, because I'm an 80s hair band fan too. I like the references, and now that I've heard how you came up with it, like, that is absolutely crazy, having a dream like that. And I'm hoping, you should tag Steve in this when when I tag you on Twitter, make sure he gets it, so maybe he'll sing a song and he can incorporate.
I don't think he's on Twitter.
I don't think he's not. He's not. I'll be the first one to say he's not, because I went
searching. Convince him to get on Twitter. I know there's a whole big fan base out there that would love to see.
Oh my God, yeah, totally. But yeah, I mean, it would be awesome if we could, have a song where Kivo's name's mentioned in it. That would be cool.
And a Steve Perry song?
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, that would be the ultimate dream.
Like, finally my name got dropped in a song. Growing up, this is what I really thought. People just made up names that either rhymed or they needed that many syllables. And I didn't realize these were real girlfriends or like that.
Yeah, they were.
I was just waiting for, Kristen. I'm sure it's got to come up in a song somewhere.
Well,
right?
it's got to, yeah. Yeah, my name will never, because I go by Allie, but my name's Alin, and that's never going to come up in a song. I can guarantee you.
Well, maybe I'm going to write you a song.
All right. Okay, make sure your name's in it too.
Or maybe I was like, this is a song for every girl whose name has never got dropped in a song.
Exactly. Do it that way, because there's so many, especially now, there's so many like unique names that, it would be, do that. There's an idea for a song.
Your
Anyways,
anthem. That's it.
exactly, right? I could like talk to you forever. But I will let you go. I'm sure you have lots going on. I want to thank you so much for, like I said, coming on the show, coming on at such short notice and helping me fill today because I did have a cancellation. I couldn't imagine a better person than you to fill it, just because we love so many of the same things. It's bizarre.
Yes.
And thank
Yes.
you. And like I said, anything new happens, you're more than welcome to come back on, or you can send me your singles. I'll throw them up on my Allie's Odds and Ends and promote the heck out of them because I do
I
it
would
for
love
all my
that.
artists. Yeah. And don't be a stranger. And, you know, when you are up on stage receiving awards and, you know, yelling out Steve Perry's name, hopefully you will get to meet him.
Yeah. I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Perry. That's
Yeah.
that's what it's going to be. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And maybe then he'll, you know, get on Twitter and follow you or
Thanks for the
something.
dream.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for the dream. Exactly, exactly. Thanks for the premise behind this whole
Yeah.
song. You are so much
Yeah.
fun. Oh my God, you're so much fun. Thank you so much. I keep calling you Kristen, but thank Kivo. Thank you so much for coming on my show. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. The honor is all mine.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Now I'm going to end this because we're going to just keep going. Thank you so much for joining me on Allie's Attic. Keep checking my website because you never know what kind of surprises you'll find in my attic. Cheers. And we are done.